ChowDownChou or random gaming, depending on what you're
All
watching.
right, welcome back to ChowDownChou MMA Show, episode number 7. Last time we did episode number 6, Cormier versus Miocic preview. That came out right before the mega card featuring the heavyweight championship of the world, Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier. So this time, I'm going to give you all my thoughts on that. It's been a while since I did one of these, so I'm going to give you my thoughts on Miocic Cormier. A couple quick hits of the past few cards. I haven't really watched some of them, but, Edgar Munhoz. And I really want to get into Alistair Overeem and Augusto Sakai because, personally, I'm a big Reem fan, so it's really good to see him back in the win column. So definitely ready to talk about that. And, but I think the main reason that I wanted to do a Chow Chow MMA edition is to get ready for the upcoming cards. And by cards, I mean 2 cards that I'm really, really mega excited about. Number 1, my favorite fighter is back. He's back. He's back in the main event slot. And I know what you're thinking. It's not Israel Adesanya. It's not Paulo Costa. It's not Khabib. It's not Justin Gaethje. It is my boy Colby Chaos Covington. He's back versus Tyron Woodley in September 19th. The main event on ESPN Plus. I'm really excited to watch that. So I want to give you my breakdown for Covington Woodley. I want to give you my breakdown for Adesanya Costa. Break down all the mega cards coming up. It's going to be a great couple of weeks for MMA fans. So without further ado, let me jump right into it. So before I start, previewing the upcoming cards, I want to cover a little bit about what happened. All right, Stipe Miocic decision win over Daniel Cormier. Now, the eye poke, I think, is on everyone's minds. The eye poke was unfortunate. If you look at Cormier's eye, it was completely shut. It was bad. I mean, I know a lot of people online are talking about how, he got what he deserved. That's not how it works. Eye pokes happen. And to be honest, I really like how DC handled all of it, handled it gracefully. Clearly, Stipe won. I thought that was, without question, 3-2, like 3 rounds to 2. I think that's without question. Stipe really showed his grit with double underhooks and the way he adjusts on the fly to keep Daniel on the fence because he's so much taller than him with his head movement, with his head placement. He's able to keep him on the fence. So he adjusted on the fly. He's, again, tough as nails. He got hit with some bombs and didn't go down. So, really good for him. Good win for Stipe. I think he cemented his place as the greatest heavyweight in UFC history. Of course, in terms of, accomplishments, he is, already the greatest. So that's without a question now. He's the greatest heavyweight champion in UFC history. And for DC, it was a great fight, a valiant effort. He couldn't see out of one eye. And somehow, he was able to go all 5 rounds. He didn't get finished after getting hurt badly in the second. So that's props to DC. He showed his toughness, showed his talent. The better man won that night. And it's sad to see DC retire. But, at some point, a fighter's got to know when to call it quits. And for DC, the time is now. So, sad to see him go. We will surely miss you. But great fight, great heavyweight trilogy. And now we know for sure who the best heavyweight fighter is. So congrats to Stipe. It was a masterful performance of adjustment, of gritty and toughness, of having an amazing chin because he got hit with some bombs. And, he toughed it out. He toughed that decision. Junior Dos Santos, Jairzinho Rosenstrike caught him. I knew that would happen. Sean O'Malley, Marlon Vera. Sean O'Malley twisted his people are saying Marlon Vera hit him with the low calf kicks, and that's where it re-aggravated Sean O'Malley's injury. Sean O'Malley, at some point we got to say the best ability is availability. And at this point, he's had so many injuries, such long layoffs. Will he ever live up to the hype? I honestly don't think so. I think next time he comes back, people are going to target the legs. It's going to be another injury. Like, he could be a top 15 player for a while. But I see him as kind of a Santiago Ponzinibbio, someone who's a great fighter, can beat anyone in the top 15 any given day, but just couldn't get rid of the injuries. Will he ever be a champion? I honestly don't think so. So I think, I don't know. I've been really high on the Sugar Show. I thought he was going to knock out Marlon Vera, but we're all wrong sometimes in life. So I'm hopping off the Sugar Show. If he gets back, if he, gets all the hype behind him, I'd love to see that. But for now, I'm off. Sugar Show's off. Sugar has turned into salt. It's the Salt Show now. It's done. I think the Sugar Show was done. And I think the way he handled it is also kind of salty. But of course, he's a very confident person. So he's going to come out and say, I thought I should have won. So I also don't think that's really should be a surprise to anyone. But I can't see him overcoming this many injuries. I really can't see. So I'm jumping off the bandwagon. Goodbye, Sean O'Malley. I still love you. If you come back, knock people out, I would love to see that. But for now, it's over. At least for me. At least for me. Okay, so that about wraps up for UFC 252. Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier. Now, for the first time in my life, I sat down and watched a full Bellator card because I was really excited for Vadim Nemkov versus Ryan Bader. And Nemkov outclassed Bader. He outclassed him. It was a clinic from the beginning. Striking was on point. I didn't know why Bader didn't go to the blast double more, but he didn't. It was primarily a stand-up battle. He took him down once. Nemkov controlled the stand-up battle, and he was setting that high kick up. Like, you could see it. Like, he fired a couple, he missed it. It was always that straight left to a high kick. Like, he kept throwing that same combination. And you could see Ryan Bader, he kind of ate a couple, kind of leaned out of range of a couple, but eventually one caught him, put him to sleep. Was it a bad stoppage? Not really. I thought you wanted to give the double champ Ryan Bader some sort of an opportunity to recover, and he almost did. To his credit, he almost did. But Nemkov kept pouring him the pressure, hit him in the face with a couple of big left hooks, dropped him down twice. And by that time, the fight was already over. We all know it. He was not going to let up with 3 minutes on the clock. So the referee jumped in and saved him. Not a bad stoppage. And in Vadim Nemkov, we have a true light heavyweight star, undefeated. Who's going to challenge him? Is it going to be the winner of Phil Davis Machida too? I don't know, but he is the real deal. He is the real deal. I don't know. Do you give Ryan Bader a media rematch? Has he earned that? I don't know. I think you can give Bader a rematch. I think you can easily justify that. I don't really see it playing out any differently unless Bader goes back to the well of his wrestling. So we'll see. But it was a good product, though. For someone who's never watched a Bellator card, the product was great. Vadim Nemkov has a lot of personality. I loved the whole storyline of him and Fedor versus Ryan Bader. Like, that whole thing, I loved it. For Ryan Bader, keep your head up, go defend the heavyweight title. That's a perk of being a double champ. If you lose one, you still got one left, So, great show. I just want to give a little bit of my quick thoughts on that. And now I will jump into Edgar v. Munhoz. So Edgar Munhoz, it was great fight. I really, really loved the back and forth, fast paced. It was like, you watching these bantamweight fights, like everything's in like 2 times speed. Like, they're so fast, right? Frankie Edgar, clean boxing technique, 1-2s, 3-piece combinations. Pedro Munhoz, tough as nails, him with the leg kicks, absolutely brutalizing Frankie Edgar's legs. I thought Pedro Munhoz won. I thought you won 3-2, but I'm not mad at the decision. It's not okay, I guess it's controversial. It's not a robbery by any means. Like, if you leave it to the judges, there's nothing is 100%. Like, if you win, right? If you leave it to the judges, weird stuff can happen. So if you don't finish the fight and it's that close, you can't really be mad. So where does Frankie Edgar go from here, though? I mean, that's the question that I want to know about, because Frankie Edgar, okay, he beat up Pedro Munhoz, who is ranked number 5, I believe, in the bantamweight division. Where does he go from here? I think they give him the winner of, first of all, Dominic Cruz would be an insane fight. I would love that. 2 legends going at it. But if not, and we're looking at the rankings, I think they give him the winner of Sandhagen Moraes. I know that's a targeted upcoming fight. Frankie Edgar probably needs some time to heal up. So maybe give him the winner of Sandhagen Moraes. Maybe give him. I know Cody Garbrandt's going to go for a flyweight title shot, so maybe not Cody Garbrandt, but we'll see. I mean, Frankie Edgar now has all his options. Top 5. Anyone he's able to fight, As for Pedro Munhoz, I guess you give him loser of Sandhagen Moraes. He's not really taking that big of a step down. He showed the world that he's tough. He can hang in there. He's definitely one of the best at bantamweight. He'll get a top 10 opponent. This maybe sets him back 1 win from a title shot, right? He's 2 wins away from a title shot essentially. So I wouldn't feel discouraged if I'm Pedro Munhoz. It was a great fight. Be happy with that performance. Although you didn't get the W, I wouldn't call it a robbery. It was a great fight, though. Really, really, really enjoyed it. It was one of the best fights of the year for me. Really. All right. Next up, Rakic Smith. Now, this card was boring. Boring. Jesus Christ, it was boring. Ricardo Lamas was the highlight of the whole card for me. He beat the newcomer Bill Algeo. Tougher fight than I would have imagined. Bill Algeo is the real deal, but Ricardo Lamas showed all the veteran toughness in the world, pulled one out, and now the bully has officially retired. Great win to go out on. Ricardo Lamas, we love you. Tough as nails always. Well-rounded mixed martial artist. A professional always. So go out in the sunset and enjoy some time with the family. That's probably the biggest takeaway from the card for me. Alexa Grasso winning his flyweight debut. Boring decision win. Robbie Lawler absolutely getting dominated by Neil Magny. Boring fight. I don't know what's happening with Robbie Lawler, man. It's the old Robbie used to be ferocious, ruthless. He just go forth and you try to take your head off, right? The new version of Robbie is very pacifist. He's not really doing much. He's not getting finished. He's tough. He's hanging in there. He's sort of circling the octagon. He's all the technique, all the defense. He's not going forward, though. I don't know what's happening. He's not going forward. It's kind of weird. But Robbie Lawler's done. I don't really see him making another run in the UFC. Maybe have 1 or 2 fights left him in. Would love to see him bounce back. Would love to see that. But at this point, who do you pair him up with, No one really. You might want to give him an easy fight for him to go out on. Someone young, up and coming, or a legend like a Diego Sanchez. Someone like a Mike Perry, maybe. I don't know. I don't know where to go from here. Maybe a Mike Perry. That'd be a good fight. Anyways, Neil Magny stuck to the game plan, did a fantastic job. You pair him up with Jeff Neal. I think Jeff Neal deserves that shot. Jeff Neal is the real deal power puncher. So you pair him up with Jeff Neal. I think that's the easiest thing in the world for him. And Anthony Smith versus Alexander Rakic. Rakic was too physical, too big, too fast, too athletic for Anthony Smith. You can see that coming from a mile away. Although Anthony Smith said, he's so athletic, but that's not enough to be at the highest level. Well, clearly it is because you got dominated. I don't know what to say. Honestly though, I think Anthony Smith is much, much better than the performance he gave. I think it comes down to that Glover Teixeira fight. I think he took way too much damage in the Glover Teixeira fight. He came back way too fast to a main event versus a young, hungry lion and got dominated on the ground. I honestly think that's what happened. If you give Anthony Smith another 6 months, it's not going to be the same fight. But he didn't have enough time to, recover. He didn't have enough time to recover. I think, Anthony Smith's so much better than that. So much better than that. But where does he go from here? I think you give him someone like a Volkan Oezdemir, maybe someone who's also on kind of a skid. Well, he already beat Volkan, so maybe not Volkan. Someone like I don't know, someone like a Nikita Krylov. Someone's coming off a win, building a little steam in the top 15, heading up to the top 5. You give him Anthony Smith, maybe, right? As for Alexander Rakic, though, I have one very specific person in mind. 2 European light heavyweights, athletic as hell, going at it. 2 weird dudes going at it. It's Yuri Prohaska versus Alexander Rakic. Make that fight, Dana. Make that fight. Make that a main event, dude. I want to see Yuri Prochaska in a 5-rounder. I love Prochaska. He is probably my second favorite fighter in the world right now. So love to see him fight. I'd even, restart my ESPN Plus subscription for you. So make that a main event on the fight night card. I don't know, somewhere in December. I know there's a couple cards I need filling. Do that, man. Do that. I would love to see that fight. But good fight for Rakic. He should have went for the finish. He didn't. It's kind of a conservative performance, but he was dominating. So what's important is to get the W, right? Now going on to the card that I really feel strongly about is my boy, the Ubereem, the Reem, economical, Alistair Overeem TKO's Augusto Sakai. This proves experience in MMA does matter. If you look at the fight, the way he was luring Sakai in, always keeping the distance, not doing a lot, covering up, draining him of the energy, then realizing that Sakai is garbage on the ground, taking him down with the ground and pound for 3 straight rounds and finishing off with some brutal elbows. That is a clinic on how experience plays a factor in MMA. Experience and technique and muscle memory and adjustment plays a huge factor in MMA. It doesn't have to be a young man's game. Augusto Sakai was hungry. He was hitting him with some big shots, but Overeem knew that a heavyweight puncher like Sakai does not have the best gas tank. So he lured him in. He covered up. He lured him in, hit him with some knees to the body, build that gas tank, drain that gas tank. 4th round, take him down, ground and pound. As soon as he turned over, Overeem knew it was over. It was hammer fists, elbows. It was done it was basically done in the 4th round. So I just love Overeem. So that was one of the best performances I've ever seen out of him. It was so impressive that a 40-year-old man came in and stopped a young, hungry lion like that, proving he still has one last run into him. He still has one last run. And who do you pair him up with, I think is the question. For Augusto Sakai, it's whatever. It's going to be one of the young, up-and-comers. Volkov or someone like that. Not even Volkov. I think Volkov's too good for Sakai. Like Olynyk, someone who just lost, someone like that, whatever. But for Overeem, there are 2 fights people are talking about. It's either Jairzinho Rozenstruik or Derek Lewis. And if Derek Lewis loses to Curtis Blades, I think that's a natural progression for Alistair. if I think Jairzinho makes sense too. Like honestly, Jairzinho just beat JDS. If Alistair Overeem rematches with Jairzinho and Alistair wins, dude, Alistair's right there in the title picture. He's right there. So I would like to see him get the Jairzinho rematch. Although disclaimer, I think in that fight, Jairzinho still knocks him out, especially now he's got the confidence. He knows he can knock you out. He's coming forward. Overeem can't stop that humongous Serenani's juggernaut, right? I just don't think he can. I think Derek Lewis is a much better fight for him because Derek Lewis, although he throws haymakers, he's not as technical. So Overeem can pick him apart. So I like the Derek Lewis fight. Jairzinho fight, I would love to see that as well, but I just don't think Alistair Overeem has a big of a chance of winning that fight. But I'd still like to see it. So yeah, both fights make sense, man. Alistair Overeem, love you, absolute legend of the sport. Can't wait to see you, get another win. Really step into that title picture. And how good of a story would it be to have him challenge for the title one last time? How good of a storyline would that be? Okay, that's gonna be awesome. Okay, so make it happen, UFC. Give him the path of least resistance to the title. I want to see Alistair Overeem fighting again for a UFC heavyweight title. I want to see him fight again for the UFC heavyweight title. Right? Now, the rest of the fights on the card, really not much to talk about. Ovince St. Preux, we all knew he had power. It wasn't it was a KO, but we knew stuff like that would happen, right? Anyways, Michel Paella, is he finally coming into form? I feel like he's picking it off just a little bit on the craziness. He's not doing all the flips and shit, right? So he's trying to rein it in, and he'll realize once he reins it in, it's so much easier to just pick his shots and use his technical striking because he has really good technical striking. So just use his technical striking. He can dominate opponents. Zelim Imadaev is not an easy fight for anyone, but Michel Paella made it look easy. So good for him. I mean, I love to see him come into form. I think that would be a very entertaining presence to have in a welterweight division. You know, you pair him up with a lot of the fun fights you have in that division. It makes for some fun matchups. You know, it makes for some fun matchups. All right, so I think that is about the stuff I want to talk about in terms of results. At least in terms of results, I think that's basically all I want to talk about. Now, on to what I really want to talk about, and that is the upcoming cards. So I'm going to cover all the cards up until Adesanya versus Costa, which is on September 27th. Have they rounded out that card yet? Mostly done. Okay. So I'm going to cover all those cards, starting with what was promised to be Santos Teixeira, which was going to be an insane fight. I was so looking forward to that fight. I love Thiago Santos. Glover Teixeira looks like a world beater right now. I cannot wait. But then, COVID-19, shit happens, especially with the Brazilians. I don't know what's happening with them. Can they just wear a mask, right? Anyways, apparently they can't. Everyone's testing positive, whatever. Now we got Michelle Waterson versus Angela Hill, which, for what it's worth.
Doesn't sound like you're interested in the Jairzinho.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. No, you know how on ESPN sometimes they just play video clips? No, that's kind of caught me off guard. Anyways, Michelle Waterson versus Angela Hill. Not a bad fight. No stretch of the imagination. Angela Hill is. I thought she won her last fight, so she looks like she's unbeatable right now. She's on a winning streak. She's keeping active. Real good technical striker versus Michelle Waterson. Again, one of the mainstays of that top 5, top 10 of the women's strawweight division. It's going to be a good fight. It's going to be a good scrap. You know what else I know about the fight? It's going to go 5 rounds, and it's going to be close, and there's going to be controversy. It's going to be a controversial decision. That's what I know about the fight. It's going to be a boring 5-rounder. I'm sorry, but if you look at the records of both women, that's sort of the style they fight with, right? That's sort of the style. They're not finishers. Anyways, enough of the ranting. If I had to pick a person, I'd go with Michelle Waterson just because of the experience, and her last few fights were like really, really tough. So I don't think it's her fault she lost that. I think she can't handle someone like a caliber of Angela Hill. It's whatever. This fight's whatever to me. I mean, all the other fights, Mike Rodriguez, Ed Herman, that should be a good scrap. Billy Quarantillo, Kyle Nelson, that should be a good scrap. Andrea Lee, Roxanne Modafferi. It's always good to see Roxanne Modafferi back. And I also really, really like Andrea KGB Lee. So, you know, it's going to be a good flyweight fight. I'm going to go with Andrea on this one just because of her prowess on the ground. But, again, Roxanne, the way she beat Macy Barber, you never know, man. So that would be a fight I'm looking out for. In terms of the co-main event, Kama Worthy versus Atman Azatar. Atman Azatar, undefeated, real prospect, power in those hands. Really, really conventional boxer. Really like him. So I'm excited to see where this prospect goes next. In terms of Kama Worthy, coming off of 2 big wins where everyone counted him out. The guy's scary. He's crazy. He's got power. It's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be 2 juggernauts going at it in the lightweight division, man. It's gonna be a real good fight. I honestly think this fight will be better than the Michelle Waterson Angela Hill fight. They just don't have enough name value. But if I had to pick, how can you go against Kama Worthy? He's coming off as a world beater. I think Kama Worthy stops Atman. I really do think so. Anyways, so I don't want to spend too much time on the, Waterson Hill card because that's not what I want to talk about. What I really, really want to talk about is the 2 upcoming fight cards. Covington Woodley is the first one. Colby Covington versus Tyron Woodley. These 2 hate each other, and I love it. This fight, in my mind, goes one of 2 ways. It goes one of 2 ways. Number 1, Colby Covington pressures the hell out of Tyron Woodley with his wrestling, with his kicks, with his cardio. It's gonna be like Usman Woodley all over again. Woodley getting dominated over 5 rounds. Covington winning by a 50-44. And that's where I hope it goes. Because I love Colby Covington. I think he makes a welterweight division extremely fun. And keeping him in the top 5, keeping him around the title picture, makes everything better. It just does. It does make everything better. So that's how I see the fight playing out. Well, the other way I could see the fight playing out is domination from Colby for like 3 rounds, and then Tyron Woodley just unleashes a hellish right hand towards Colby Covington, knocks him the hell out, gets on the mic, calls him a little punk, knocked him out in front of everyone, did it for everyone. Colby Covington takes a massive step back. He has to dial back the shit talking. And then the UFC becomes the boringest. The welterweight division becomes so boring. So boring. Dude, you got Jorge Masvidal. Whatever. He's out there doing his own stuff. Kamaru Usman is a bore. He is a snooze fest. We need someone like Colby Covington right there at the title. Okay? You got Usman. You got Leon Edwards. You got Tyron Woodley. They're all cringy as hell. None of them's funny, and none of them draws anyone's interest. The welterweight division is being propped up by Jorge Masvidal and Colby Chaos Covington. Okay, if Tyron Woodley knocks out Covington, it's gonna be so boring. It's gonna be so boring. But I think it's 50-50. I honestly think it's 50-50 between the two scenarios. Complete domination by Colby Covington, and the other scenario being knocked out by Tyron Woodley. So I can't wait for this fight. It is a coin flip in my mind. And just because I'm a little bit biased, I'm going to go with Colby Chaos Covington winning. I know I'm biased, but I'm going to go with him. I think Tyron Woodley, coming off the 2 losses to Usman and Burns, he sort of takes the fight off once he knows he's getting dominated, right? And that's what Colby does best. He dominates people. So I see it as complete domination for Colby Chaos Covington. Get on the mic, scream at Usman, scream at Gilbert Burns, scream at Masvidal, scream at Leon Edwards. It's gonna be the best. It's gonna be such an entertaining post-fight interview. The best. Okay, it's gonna be so good. But if Tyron Woodley wins, welterweight division goes back to being the boring division with the cringiest champion and the cringiest challengers. I would hate to see that, but I have to admit, in my mind, that's like a 49% chance that happens. But I'm leaning towards the 51% chance of Colby Chaos Covington dominating Tyron Woodley. That would make the world a better place. It really does. Despite what you think about Colby and his gimmick, he makes it better. He makes the UFC fun. He does. Okay. Now, moving on to the next fight, the co-main event. Like all the other fights aren't really that interesting. Plus, there's a lot of other fights not confirmed. I'll talk a little bit about the co-main. Shamil Abdurakhimov versus Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane coming off as a world beater, doing really, really well with surprising ground game. However, Shamil Abdurakhimov is not kidding. Mainstay of the heavyweight division for years now. 25 fights, experienced, only ever lost 5 times. Hellacious ground and pound, cardio for days, tough as nails. I think this is going to be the real test for Cyril Gane. This is going to be the real test. And Cyril Gane, you know, he ran through his last couple of opponents. I think this is a real test for him. If I had to pick, I would still go with Cyril Gane. I'd say Cyril Gane wins by decision. I think Abdurakhimov is tough enough to hang in there with Cyril Gane. And it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy night out for Cyril Gane. I'd say it's a decision win for him. It's going to be a tough fight. It'll really be a gut check for the prospect. But I think he pulls this one out just because he's younger, he's hungrier. And I really see it playing out as a controversial decision, but Cyril Gane pulls it out so that the UFC can continue to promote him. I think he's a force in the heavyweight decision. If he gets through Shamil, he's in. He's like in, okay? Then you can pair him up with one of the big name dudes, you know? Pair him up with Augusto Sakai, dude. Pair him up with Sakai. There's going to be a lot of opponents for Cyril Gane to choose from if he wins this fight. Real gut check. All right, so that about does it for Covington Woodley. Now, the fight that everyone is talking about, everyone, and I mean everyone. By the way, I'm going to go into some of the MMA news a little bit later, so stick around for that. The fight that everyone's talking about, Adesanya Costa. It's going to be... now, before I get into that fight, because I do have some things to say about that fight, I want to go a little bit down below and just talk about some of the other fights on the card. Oh, I totally forgot. The light heavyweight strap is on that card. Woo! Sorry. Anyways, Diego Sanchez fighting, Jake Matthews, good fight. Nate Landwehr, Brad Riddle, Alex Silva, good scraps. William Knight, who I really, really like from the Contender Series, is fighting Leska Kamer, who is no joke. Okay? Now, main card, Hakeem Dawodu's back, Kai Kara France, Brandon Royval. That's a really, really important fight for the flyweight division. Now, let's talk about the two title fights. Now, first, I want to talk about the light heavyweight title fight. Everyone knows John Jones vacated the title. He's gone now. He's going up to heavyweight. He's doing lifts. He's out there snorting coke and passing out coke. By coke, I mean Coca-Cola in the lines, helping out the homeless during daytime and at night, inviting the homeless into his van and shooting guns at night. So whatever the hell John Joe's doing out in Albuquerque, New Mexico, he gave up the strap. Now we got the two worthy challengers, the two people that I knew was in line to get a title shot next, and I was really conflicted as to who should get it. Now they're fighting each other for the title. How good is that? How good is that? Dominic, the Devastator Reyes versus Jan Polish Power Blachowicz. This fight is what dreams are made of. Dominic Reyes, tough kid, athletic as hell, kicks, elbows, straight left that touches you and you go down. Okay, we've seen it time and time again. He's so athletic. This is like the perfect stylistic fight. On one side, you got Dominic Reyes, who's athletic, young, moves fast, right? Quick, lengthy. And then on the other side, you got just a stable mountain in Jan Blachowicz. Just a perfect size, compact, like hardened veteran who just stands there. Conventional boxing techniques. Doesn't do anything too flashy. But if you come in at the wrong angle and he catches you with a big right hand, you are out. You are out. Okay? This is a great fight. I can't wait for Dominic Reyes versus Jan Blachowicz. It's going to be a great fight. Both of them have power to knock each other out. It comes down to speed versus power. I think Dominic Reyes definitely have the speed advantage. And the path to winning for Dominic Reyes is to keep on the move. Keep on the move. Don't get lured in. Don't get lured into punching range. Keep it at bay with kicks, with long punches. You got the reach advantage. Long punches, straight left, kicks to the body, kicks to the legs. Outpoint Jan Blachowicz. Okay? And for Jan, close the distance, dude. Close the distance. Find a way. When he's throwing that big left hand, throw a kick, and then to the big right hand. You know that's the way Jan is going to win. Is the knockout. Okay? So it's a stylistic dream. It's speed versus power. It's knockout power versus the speed of Dominic Reyes and the evasiveness and the athletic ability of Dominic Reyes. It's going to be great. Now, it's tough for me to pick a winner. It's really, really tough. Everyone's sort of leaning towards Dominic just because how close his fight versus John was. But what people need to understand is that Blachowicz is the polar opposite of John. John has 8 limbs. John has so many tricks in his bag. But for Dominic Reyes, you're not really scared of getting knocked out by John. But it's different with Blachowicz. You get too cute, he'll finish you with one shot. One shot. So, man, it's hard for me to pick. It's a completely different style versus John Jones. So I don't think it's going to be as easy as Dominic Reyes as people are saying. I'm actually going with Jan Blachowicz. If anyone has any sense, listen to me. He's going to knock out Dominic Reyes. He's going to knock him out. I'm telling you right now, he has that power. It is no joke. Okay? As for Dominic Reyes, it is what it is. I think he's going to get knocked out. I think Dominic Reyes, he definitely has a speed advantage. The only way of winning, I think, is him outpointing Jan Blachowicz. But who knows, man? Who knows how this fight will play off? I think it's 50-50. People have Dominic Reyes as the favorite. I give the slight edge to Jan Blachowicz. I really think he's going to win. But I wouldn't be surprised if Dominic Reyes pulls out something crazy. This is that kind of a fight. Anything can happen. It's a coin flip. Okay? But I'm going with the Blachowicz. So if you have any sense, follow Derek's picks. I also kind of want to make a video on my picks just so people can follow and bet. But I'm not betting. Why should people bet on my picks? Anyways. All right. Now, done with Blachowicz versus Dominic Reyes. Now, I am moving on to the fight of the century, according to some people. Adesanya versus Paulo Costa. Israel the Stylebender versus Borrachinha. Now, when I saw this fight was announced, of course the world's on fire. I was really, really excited. Because, in my opinion, it doesn't get any better than this style matchup. It doesn't get any better. This is right down the middle. This is technique versus power. This is speed versus strength. This is accuracy versus power. Okay? This is as classic a stylistic matchup as you can get. On one hand, you got Israel Adesanya. He aims and fires. He knocked out Robert Whittaker with some of the best movements. The way he twisted his hip and just threw everything into the left hook right on the chin. Beautiful, absolutely stunning technique. The best kickboxer in the UFC, in my opinion. Accuracy over power. He's accurate. But on the other hand, you got this monstrosity of a human being named Paulo Costa who ate everything from Yoel Romero, still comes forward, punching, kicking, full power, head kicks. This is this is insane, man. This is insane. This is like that scene in Death Race where you got the nimble little car with a little gun on top of it versus the big freaking pickup truck with a rocket launcher. Who would win? One runs circle around the other, hit him, pepper him with shots, but one shot from the big one, you are out, Mr. Adesanya. So this is so classic of a matchup. And dude, if you look at the rhetoric that has been going up to this, I think they're basically even money at this point. Even money. People, Israel Adesanya's point is that, hey, Paulo Costa only comes forward with shots. He throws recklessly. If I catch him, he's out. That's true, right? But if he catches you, he's out. So this is the way I see the fight playing out. Two ways. Now, we've all seen in the Yoel Romero fight that Paulo Costa gets gassed. When you're that big and you cut that much weight, you don't have the gas tank to go 5 rounds. I think that's fair to say. Okay? So, this is the way I see the fight going. There are two ways. Number one, Paulo Costa, we know he's going to come in like a freaking juggernaut, like a freight train. Okay? If he catches Adesanya, it's basically over. Okay? It's basically over. So, that's the first way I see the fight going out. Quick first round finish. Second round finish. The second way is he tries to go forward. Adesanya evades, peppers him with shots, evades. 3 rounds down. 4th round, Costa's getting tired. Israel Adesanya's pouring it on. Left hand, left hook, right hook, calf kick. All the arsenals comes out. and Paulo Costa gets TKO'd because he just couldn't take it. He was too tired. He falls on the ground, gets piled on with shots, and it's over. So that's 2 ways. This is my prediction. If it goes into the 4th round, if it touches the 4th round, Adesanya wins by TKO. If it doesn't go into the 3rd round, Costa wins by knockout. That's my prediction. That's the 2 ways I see the fight happening. And now you're going to say, hey, dude, like, we all know the fight can end in 2 ways. Like, duh. Like, if this guy doesn't win, the other guy wins, right? The way I honestly think this fight's going to play out looks like this. 1st round, 2nd round, Costa catches Adesanya with a big shot. But Adesanya doesn't get finished. Saved by the bell. Survives on the ground. Whatever. 3rd round, Costa starts slowing down. Adesanya peppers him with shots. 4th round, peppers him. Left hook, right hook. 5th round, Costa can't take it anymore. Falls to the ground. Piles it on. We got the same undisputed champ, Israel Stylebender Adesanya, one of the best middleweights of all time. And the biggest star the UFC has to offer right now. That's how I see the fight playing out. So if you're smart, follow me. Bet on Adesanya. I think he finishes 4th round TKO? 4th round TKO. That's what I'm going for. Okay? So to summarize, I think Colby Covington dominates Tyron Woodley. I think Adesanya finishes Costa in the 4th round. I think Jan Blachowicz knocks out Dominic Reyes within the first 3 rounds. And we got a new light heavyweight champion, the same middleweight champion, and we got the next rightful #1 contender in Colby Chaos Covington right after Gilbert Burns. Who would not want to see Usman Covington 2? That was one of the best fights I've seen in my life, and the anticipation and the tension when they were staring each other down in the center of the octagon and the referee clapped them in during the fight when there's no voices. It was so good. It was so good. So make that happen again, Dana. I love you. That sounded a little weird. I love the product. I love your product, Dana. Anyways. So Adesanya Costa, I basically covered it. I covered Covington Woodley. I covered Waterson Hill. I gave you my recap of the couple events. So the next time, I'm going to wait. The next episode of ChowDownChou MMA is going to be right after UFC 253. I'm going to give you a recap of Adesanya Costa, a recap of Covington Woodley. I'm going to go on to sort of break down Holm versus Aldana. And then we got the October 10th card, which I don't think they settled on the main event yet. Yeah, I don't think they settled on the main event yet. But I'm going to give you my thoughts on that, on Ortega Zombie. Oh, my God. On Ortega Zombie. And I might just give you my breakdown on Khabib Gaethje. Which, if I'm hearing correctly, that card is going to be stacked to the brim. Islam Makhachev, Rafael Dos Anjos, Yair Rodriguez, Zabit Magomed Sharipov. We got, who else? Who else we got? I don't know, man. It's going to be insane. It's going to be insane. All right. So, yeah, stay tuned. Subscribe, like, all that. All right. Listen to this on wherever you get your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. Follow my picks. I guarantee you will make money on MMA. Well, if you don't, it's not my fault, but I guarantee that you'll make money on MMA. And just like always, I will see you on the next ChowDownChou podcast. I know I've been on hiatus a little bit recently. I'm a little bit busy, but I got a few more stuff coming your way. So stay tuned and peace out.
Congratulations! You've made it through the video. Now, go subscribe to all the links down below, comment, and hit that like button, and I will see you all in the next one.